Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and Happy New Year. This is USA Global TV and Radio, and our show is A Woman's Prerogative. I'm your co-host, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I'll soon be introducing my co-host. And today's topic is all about intention. It's about what we're doing to move forward. And so stopping, starting, continuing. And I know some of you out there have made some resolutions, and I'd love to know how they're going 8 days in, maybe 9 days if you're in New Zealand. But please do feel free to put some comments in. We would love to hear from you wherever it is you are in the world. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my co-host who's been with me for years now, almost from the beginning. In fact, so long that she used to live in another country, but that's another story. Her name is MARISKA, and she has been helping leaders all over the world. We actually met at a life coaching certification course, and she became my mentor, and she helped me actually come up with a plan of how I was going to retire from corporate. She's also an author, and she has so many certifications that I don't even know what all of them are. So we're going to bring her out and hear what she has to say. MARISKA, welcome to the show. Hello. Oh, you're on mute, my dear.
There you go. We are unmuted. That's new for 2026. So I will remember to look at the mute button in the future. And thank you for having me back. And it is welcome to be here in a new year. I know it's a date, it's arbitrary, it's one of those things. And yet, I mean, we celebrate it because we are human and we like celebrating stuff. So here we are.
Absolutely. Now, you're joining us from New Zealand, where it is actually a day later than where I am on the East Coast of the United States. And you're actually in summer and we're in winter.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we flip everything around. And I am now in Australia. I used to be in New Zealand.
Oh my gosh. Now you're in Australia. In my mind, you were always in New Zealand. I don't know why I can't get this together. I really don't know why. Okay, you are in Australia, but when I met with you, you were in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
So it's still a different time zone and it's still a different day. So as I mentioned to the audience, we met taking a class, a certification course from Goal Imagery, I think, with Mariana Lee. We hope you're doing well, Mariana. I'm still on the list for the alumni. And you and I did a number of role plays together. And then from there, I reached out to you to see if you'd want to do a TV show. And we've been together ever since. So tell people a little bit about your journey.
Well, I'm not too sure where you would like me to start, but we will start at the leadership development space, maybe. Would be the shortest journey because I don't think you guys want to have everything since birth. That's a bit long. So within the leadership space, I initially started off with engineering and then went from there. Of course, as you mentioned, Dr. JACALYN, we moved to New Zealand. My accent is more South African. And then once I got there, discovered that maybe I need to do something else potentially. And that's where I met you, Dr. JACALYN, and we started our journey together. I also started my business at that stage, and hence why I think it is so firmly rooted in your mind that New Zealand is the place that I am most of the time, because I was for quite some time, especially during our first years, and then we moved to Australia. And what I do is leadership development, as I mentioned. So within my organization or within my business, we look at ways to help leaders be more human within their space. And if and where it makes sense, also to work with their teams to help people work better together. Because, I mean, that is what we do within teams, right? We are supposed to work together and work in a way where we couldn't do it on our own in order to achieve what we need to achieve. And that's what the leaders are for, also to help lead in those spaces. And of course, very few of us ever get training on it. We go for our official, whatever the skill set is that you initially studied for. So be it engineering, be it accounting, be it lawyer, be it a physician. So whatever it is that you initially studied, you go into those studies, and then at some point we get awarded a team. You have done well enough on your own so that you can now lead a team. And yeah, it is not always the easiest thing to do. And we need help. We need help to understand how to work through some of the things that might trigger us, might trigger some of our team members, ways to communicate that actually make sense and help the other person to hear the message in order for us to work well together. So that's what I do. In general, when I'm not with you, enjoying our conversations.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And Mariska is actually on our team of expert presenters on Talking Heads, and her show is the third Thursday/Friday of each month. So stay tuned for that. So let's dive into the topic. I love this. So it's stop, start, continue, our intentions for 2026. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, many people have made New Year's resolutions. I know that just from going to the gym is absolutely packed. And I know from being a personal trainer and a fitness instructor for a long time, by February, it will not be as packed. That is my prediction. But right now, people have good intentions. And so what I always say is that if you want to change something, you actually have to make a commitment to it. You have to be accountable and responsible, and you have to have a plan. You can't just arbitrarily put it out there. If you've been a certain weight for a long time, it's going to be almost impossible for you to all of a sudden transform yourself overnight without having a plan and making some sacrifices. So let's begin with the stop. What is one thing, or maybe what are two things that you plan on stopping, or maybe you already have, Mariska, in 2026?
So for 2026, I plan to stop not listening to my intuition.
Love this one. Bravo.
So that and for me, that's a very big one. Because I do have a tendency to be a little bit, I want to put this as kindly as I can, hard of hearing from time to time when it comes to my intuition. I might get the message and know that I'm not supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Typically, it's nothing detrimental. It might cause a spill, or it might be I bumped my toe because I didn't listen to myself and put the thing away that I needed to put away, whatever it is. So typically it's not big things, but it can get into big things, especially if I continue not listening. So that's what I want to stop doing. I want to stop not listening so that I can start to listen.
Very good. That's excellent. That's a big one, listening to intuition. I didn't listen to my intuition for years until I would say probably when I was 55, I started listening to my intuition, but I still made mistakes along the way. But now I really do listen to it, because sometimes it's actually screaming to us. Yes. So for those of you out there, what do you think about that? Listening to your intuition. Mine is actually, it might sound a little complicated, but we had a guest on one of our shows, and she was talking about eating disorders and how people beat themselves up, and then this pattern of behavior ensues. And so I reached out to her and I said, one of the things I thought was so interesting about what you shared is that when we put ourselves down, I know for me, I will refer to myself as you. You are disgusting. You need to lose weight. You this, you that. And what she said on the show was, do we ever say, I, JACALYN KERBECK, am disgusting? Do I say that to myself? No, of course not. Do I say to myself, JACALYN KERBECK has to lose weight? No. But when I put it in the you, it's almost like I'm talking about a different person. And so I'm going to stop doing that. Anything that I want to say about myself to myself, because I do talk aloud quite often because I live alone. And I've read that it's a sign of a highly emotional, intelligent person. Thank you. I will take that. I didn't say that, but I am going to put it into the context of I instead of saying you, because this way I will have to be accountable for the way I am talking to myself.
That sounds like a very good thing for all of us to stop. And it also reminds me of my own self-talk. So thank you, Dr. JACALYN. That sounds like something that I can also be stopping.
Mariska, do you periodically, do you refer to yourself as you and say you or this, you or that?
I will need to be a bit more conscious of looking for it. At the moment, I'm going to venture and say not as often. What I do though is I might do actually. I might do that. It's not at the moment conscious, and I need to go and look at it so I can see how often I do it. And the reason why I'm thinking that I might do is sometimes I try to shirk the responsibility to someone else, which is the you and not the me, right? So it might be a third party, it might be a physical other person, or it just might be an excuse you type of thing that potentially is also part of the shirking responsibility. And that's what, as you were talking, came up for me is well, I need to take accountability and responsibility for whatever the action is that I am or am not taking, because that I have full control of all the time. And if I shirk that, I'm still going to sit with the same results, right? And then I'll be a little bit more miserable. So I don't want to be miserable. One of the reasons why I want to listen to my intuition. So yeah, take responsibility for my own decisions and actions and things that I am doing that might be causing other things. I mean, if it's a tsunami, it's a tsunami, but I can still decide what I want to do once the tsunami is hit, right? So yes, take responsibility. Stop not doing that.
It's so important instead of passing the buck, which is an expression. I don't know if you've heard of it there, but it's important to be accountable and to be responsible. And by the way, I've shared this before on one of my shows that I do by myself. Even though we are accountable and we are responsible, that doesn't mean that it's going to be well received by someone else, because the other person might be in a state of denial. They might be in a state of rage. They might be, who knows? We can't come up with every possible answer, but it's really good internally in terms of finding peace to raise our hands and say, you know what, I dropped the ball on this, or I could have done that better, but I'm working on it, whatever the case might be. So that's the stop. I think we should move on to the exciting parts, which are the start and continue. What do you think?
It sounds like a good plan. So what is it that you want to be starting?
Well, I actually have started two things today. So I'll share them. One is I have founded a nonprofit organization called USA Global Voices of Humanity Foundation. And it's to give the voiceless across the world a place where they can share their voice. So today was our first board meeting. and I conducted the meeting. I'm the president. And so it was a little, I went through imposter syndrome because I thought, who am I to be leading this board meeting? I don't know anything about leading a meeting for a board. I am a board member of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, but I haven't led a board meeting. And so then I just took the focus off of myself and just put it on, okay, I'm going to be raising money so that we can raise awareness and give people a place to have a voice based on what the board votes on. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is today is the first day since I applied and was accepted to the Wharton School of Business for me to see the course content for this week. So we meet on Friday mornings, and then on Thursdays, they post the content for the week. And every week, as I understand it, we have to do so many assignments to get so many points, et cetera. So when I started looking at the course content, the first thing I said to myself was, I don't know if I'm this smart. I don't know if I have what it takes to do this program. So the last time I had formal education was when I got my doctorate. And that was, I graduated in 2011. So I had to take a time out for myself and I had to step away. It's an asynchronous environment, so you can come back and do whatever you need to do. But Fridays are live. So I just took a step away and I said, obviously, if you didn't think you could do the work, if you didn't think you could do the work, you wouldn't have applied and you wouldn't have gotten in. So you can do the work. So I can do the work. So guess what I started doing? I started doing the work. And I thought, you know what? This is actually really interesting. It's Chief Strategy Officer. And so I'm going to take what I'm learning and I'm going to apply it to my two businesses. And then I'm probably going to package some of it as a course. It's 12 months long. So I'll package parts of it as a course or courses to help teach other people who don't have the opportunity to go to Wharton.
See, that is a great start. And it also sounds like your starting had some connection to your stopping because the you came into the picture and we decided that the you will not be there. So yes. This is good news all around.
I am capable of doing the work because in order to do the work, you have to show up and you have to do it. So I am capable. I have everything I need. This is what I coach people. We have everything we need right inside of us at this moment. So over to you, Mariska. What about you? What are you starting?
What am I starting? So what I am starting, and I actually did this today, is I went through a bit of a business course or tutorial thing. And what I am starting is just re-looking at my business and really thinking about business in general as an entity of its own. So at the moment, Dr. Jacalyn, as you were mentioning the you that sits outside of you, and then you remember that is actually the you, the inside of you. My business, for some odd reason, I projected it as a me, not an entity on its own. So that was a good realization just for me to sort of split the two up into two different parts. Yes, I am an officer in it, but I am not it. So this, I know this might, for a lot of people, they might think, what? Really? How did you not see that? And yes, I knew it intellectually. I knew it, but there's something with the somatics of it. It didn't really hit down into my body being I am a separate thing from the business. So that is what I'm going to be starting to do. And I will, like I'm also going to stop not listening to my intuition because I know it speaks. I will now start listening to my business and actually ask it what it needs and what its requirements are so that I can start to work towards helping it and it can be helping me. So yes, that's what I am very excited about starting. And then on a personal note, something that I've decided for the next around about 12 months that I want to play with is doing some form of art at least once a week, just so I can have some fun. So that's the things that I'm starting.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That sounds exciting. I know you have told me that you are an artist, and I really want you to share your art with us when you're ready to do so.
Well, artist. See, now if you ask an artist, any artists, I'm sure that they will say, yes, it can be possible to be an artist. And I do bring things together that typically do not work in the same space. So maybe whether I am ready to share it with the rest of the world, I'm not sure yet.
Well, you take your time. That's okay. Something else that I've started as of this year, I've started working on the rowing machine. So
Ooh.
I've added it in to the other things that I'm doing. So I belong to Lifetime Fitness. And for any of you out there who go, I have been doing typically 2 GTX classes back to back. So that is high interval training where you spend half the time on the treadmill. And you remember I fell off the treadmill in August. So I got back on. You spend half the time on the treadmill and then half the time on the mats with weights. So before class or after, I've been adding in the rowing machine for about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And I've noticed a big difference. And I've also added in farmer's carries where you pick up matching dumbbells or kettlebells, and then you put your shoulders back and then you walk across the room. So I've got very long nails, as you know, so it makes it even more challenging to try to get your, strengthen your grip. But I've gotten up to 35 pounds. And so my goal is going to be 40 pounds. And then I'm going to stop because there's no award. They're not coming from any magazine to feature me. And so I don't want to get injured, but I'm very much goal oriented. And so when I read about it, I thought, oh, let me add that into the picture. So any farmers carries for you?
Well, yeah, around the garden. So I enjoy gardening. So typically that would be my form of farmer carrying pieces of garden equipment and or soil bags or stuff like that. So yes,
soil can be very heavy.
They can be very heavy, yes. And that's one of the reasons why I like gardening, because I get a secret workout in at the same time.
You could do a lot with those bags.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, because the whole point of farmers carries, my understanding, is to test our grip strength, because as we get older, that's an indicator, I guess, of how well we're going to live or how long we're going to live. I know with my nails so long, I have to find workarounds for a lot of things because there are things I cannot do anymore because they're so long. But with the farmers carries, it's basically when you put your shoulders back and then you have the matching dumbbells and then you walk. So you walk for, a minute, 2 minutes, whatever amount of time it is that you can go. And so you have to hold on. And so that just goes to show how strong your grip strength is. And I know growing up, and I have this somewhere at home, I have one of these things that it's a grip strengthener, I think. Mm-hmm. And my father used to use it all the time. And so you can use that as well. But being able to open things as we get older, open doors, I think that's a sign of how well we're going to live.
I remember one of my friends used to have some of those grip strength ones too. And just sitting in front of the TV, exercising them. And I thought, you know what? I carry a whole bunch of stuff around at home because at that stage we were still on the farm. My parents still on the farm, but I was on the farm and we had a dairy. So there was a lot of work going on, and we had containers with, okay, so this is in kilograms. I don't know what that would be in pounds. It was about 25 kilogram holders with fluid in it, right? So milk in little bags that's in that container that you would carry around so that you can move it to wherever it needed moving. And I thought, well, I'll just do that. It's a lot easier than doing this.
Well, that's what I think a farmer's carry is, Mariska. I think that's farmers were carrying the jugs of milk or whatever it is. I think that's where it came from. If anyone's watching and they know, please put it in the comments where farmers' carries come from. So let's talk about, and we have some comments, by the way. Let's see. We've got third eye activated. Hello. I don't know where TAOS is. I guess that's New Mexico. I'm not sure, but thank you for watching. And we've got Ruben. Hello, Ruben. Nice to have you here. We are all focused on the same things. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then we've got Chase Wise 3649. My dog is being put down in the living room right now. Oh my gosh. Oh. So sorry to hear that. I really am. I've had dogs too. That's a hard one.
It is.
So maybe just focus on the memories of the wonderful life that you had together. It's hard when a dog dies. It's really.
It is. They climb a lot deeper into our heart cavity than people would like to admit.
It's very true. You know, just a quick digression. I had 3 dogs at the same time, Eiffel, Ritzy, and Star. I was that person, the woman with the 3 dogs, walking the dogs. I wasn't living on a farm, so they weren't like running around. I had to actually physically walk them. And I was living in Florida at the time, and my dad had just passed away. And so I wanted to stay with my mother for a while. And then it was time to go. And actually, I had to go on a business trip. And she had to put the first dog down. And then while I was going the second, I mean, that's a hard thing to do when you have to put the dogs down. They all ended up with cancer at the same time. Like, what are the odds of that?
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean, losing one at a time is difficult. Losing all 3 sort of in short succession.
Yeah, well, it was very clear to me that I was not getting any more dogs because that attachment that you have, some people will go right out and get another dog. But for me, I just love them so much, especially my little Eiffel. She was a Maltese and she would clap her paws and she'd go up and down like this. It's just so cute. I miss all of them, but I will not be getting any more dogs. They're a lot of work, especially if I live in a high rise. And I see people getting the elevators and the dogs, you know, they can't make it or it's freezing outside, but they really are great companions. So, you know, we're sorry for what you're going through there, Chase Wise. So let's talk about some things that we're going to continue for 2026. Does anything pop into your mind right away?
What I'm going to continue, well, definitely business.
Working
with leaders, I'm planning on continuing all of that. And I think what I also want to continue doing is learning. So I love learning as well. If you don't know me, you will soon find out that I love learning. If you do know me, you might have come to the conclusion that I enjoy learning. So I will definitely continue learning. And continue experimenting. I think that's one thing that with a lot of my clients, whenever we are doing something new or trying something new out, that is something that I emphasize is use it as an experiment. Do something small. It doesn't need to be a big experiment. It can be a small little experiment. But do those experiments because that's the way that we learn. We see what works. We see what doesn't work. And then we know what we need to stop or start or continue doing. So that is definitely something that I will also be continuing is learning.
Well, I know that you are a lifelong learner, and just from when you and I met and we went through the life coaching program, and then when I asked you to host a TV show, I know at first you were reluctant and you were kind of like, what do I know about being a TV show host? And now look at you all these years later with your own show, One Talking Head. So it's pretty amazing. I think that when we are open to something, we can actually accomplish whatever it is. So congratulations on your business. When I met you, you were just starting that. And now with all your certifications, you just keep growing. So there would be no reason to stop doing either of those things.
That is very true. And I'm very excited about it. So this is very, very good. And how about you, Dr. JACALYN? What are you planning to continue?
Well, I'm going to continue USA Global TV and Radio, obviously. And we now, for those who don't know, not only do we have shows in English, but we have 2 shows in German, and we have 1 show in French. And so we're adding on new people who are going to be bringing different languages. And I know through AI, we probably can get things translated, but actually having people who speak their native language and do their TV show in the language is pretty cool. So we're going to keep on going with that and keep on growing. And we are excited to go towards 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we'll be celebrating our 4-year anniversary on our reunion show, which is coming up on the 25th of this month. So we're going to keep on keeping on. And then for my other business, Dr. JACALYN, I'm going to keep doing my keynote speeches. Last year, I traveled quite a bit. I'm not going to be traveling that much this year. It really takes a toll on you. And let's face it, it's very expensive. So even though you can get paid a good amount of money, it's still expensive from the whole standpoint of being away from your home. I mean, that's a big thing. I was away for, I think, 29 days in November, which is a lot. Absolutely. So I'm going to continue with that. One of the things I'm not going to continue with as much, I should have said this before, I'm not going to be writing as many books. I think I've written enough books now, and I think I've got enough books out there and listening. So I'm not going to be writing as many books. But what I'm focusing on now is being a private advisor. So I have coaching cohorts that I leave group coaching as well as individual, but I'm also going to be offering private advisory to leaders and to people who are going through burnout, and they're going through situations where they really have no one to talk to. You know, they've got confidential things that they want to share. They don't need a therapist. They need a private advisor. So that's what I'm going to be continuing to build from there. And then I guess from a workout standpoint, I'm still continuing solid core. I started in 2018. You know, something kind of interesting. I love your viewpoint on this. So I'm not a brand ambassador for Solid Core. I'm just going to say that. I am approaching 1,100 classes. So I took off over 2 years during the pandemic, and then I was taking care of my mother. And so there wasn't a Solid Core where we were. But I'm so close to this milestone, but Solid Core doesn't recognize the milestone. So it's 1,000 classes, and then it's 2,000 classes. And so I reached out to them back when I turned 1,000 classes, which I don't even remember when that was. It was sometime in the last 6 months, I guess. And they said they'd consider it. But if they had a milestone for 1,100, which, by the way, they put something on a sign, you know, congratulations, JACALYN, 1,100 classes, and then you take pictures, it would really mean a lot to me. So what I found was, as I'm getting closer and closer, I haven't booked in any classes because I kind of want that celebration. And I thought, well, I can just celebrate with myself, or I can ask one of the coaches to pose with me, because it's kind of asking them to change their whole reward and recognition system. Like, I think it should be, when you're over 1,000 classes, maybe every 100 there, or maybe 1,250 or 1,500 or whatever the case may be, because I think it's just an incentive and it doesn't cost any money.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is, we also have different people that want to celebrate in different ways, right? So to your point, my little Apple Watch has little celebrations too. And one of the little celebrations that it has is during the month of January, if you close all 3 of your rings, so there's a stand ring, there's an exercise ring, and there's a movement ring. If you close all 3 of them for 7 consecutive days, anytime during January, then you get it's like a New Year's badge reward thing. It doesn't cost them anything. And I try every year to do that when I remember about it. So having some form of reward also, I think it's not only a celebration when you have it, it is also a form of encouragement when we get closer to it. Because as you are mentioning, Dr. JACALYN, at the moment, you're sort of avoiding booking classes in because you're so close and you would like to celebrate it, but there is no official celebration. So what I'm wondering is, how might you, and you mentioned taking a photo with one of the instructors, how might you be able to celebrate it maybe on your own, or in a different way, or with a class, or with some of the other people that does those type of workouts? Because it is a milestone that, yes, it's not the big one. And I mean, we never achieve just big milestones. It's all the little ones that add up to the big ones, right? So if we need to celebrate the little ones so that we can get to the big ones, that's good. That's good. I would invent something for myself if I were you.
I totally agree with you. And I love what you just shared, because I think that's the whole crux of it. When you think about it, we're just using this example of 1,100 classes. It's not about the number, actually, but it's actually the journey and the experience. And I've said this so many times that by doing solid core, again, not a paid spokesperson, still waiting for anyone to recognize me. Joking, but not that what I have learned about myself through the workout, because it is so hard, is it's priceless. And it's gotten me through some really dark times. When my mom had dementia and I was the primary caregiver for her, that was a really tough place to be. And I would go and work out in that class. And it gave me a reason to keep going on. We do have a comment. Let's see what we have here from Ruben. Hello. Listening to you ladies, I come from a different background. I don't have a problem being pushed or pushing myself, but when I try and push others, I blow them out. This year, I have gotten off to a good start, making calls and setting appointments, make a lot of calls and working the numbers. I'm finding people who want more. It makes it easier to deal with those who aren't as motivated, because I know there is someone out there that does and wants my help. You know what, Ruben? I love what you just shared. And what I have to say to you is this. I was in sales for almost my entire career, and it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. Get through as many no's as you possibly can, because the yes is coming. And so we don't take it personally. We don't get emotional about it. It's not a good fit. Thank you. Next. That's how I look at it, that there are people out there who want our services and there are people who don't. And we just have to realize, who are we? What is it that we represent, and who is our market? And by the way, that was in Wharton today, talking about strategy. We have to actually know that we're not for everyone. We have to have a strategy of who are we, and what is it that we represent? What is the value that we bring, and what sets us apart from everyone else? So what's setting us apart is that we have to close out, because we're coming to the end of our show, which will be running on E360 TV at the top of the hour on all of their platforms, LG, Samsung, Roku, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you for engaging with us. Co-host, what would you like to share as we close out today's episode?
Well, I think for me, I know it's the beginning of the year. And as I mentioned at the start of our conversation, it's an arbitrary date. It doesn't need to be the day on which you decide to have New Year's resolutions. I think the main thing about thinking about stopping, starting, and continuing is your learning cycle. So wherever you are at the moment within your space, whether it is currently gathering resources like animals and trees do just before winter, or whether it is in full bloom. It doesn't really matter where you are within your journey. It's taking time to do a bit of a review of what's going on and where you are at. And potentially, like Dr. JACALYN said, celebrate a few things. I mean, you have achieved a lot so far, so celebrate those. And of course, if you are looking to get hold of me, you can do so via my website, which is journey2discover.com. Or alternatively, you can also find me on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, I'm Mariska du Preez. And if you are not connected very closely, you will only see Mariska Du. But that's me. If you get that profile picture, then you know you have the right Mariska. And you can also get hold of me via my email address, which is Mariska, M-A-R-I-S-K-A, @journey2discover.com. So that's all the ways to reach me. If you are a leader and you want to bring more humanness into your leadership, so that you can feel more in tune and relaxed whenever you are going throughout your leadership day and space. Please get in contact and we can start our conversation. And that's it for me, Dr. Jacalyn.
Thank you so much, Mariska. You know what I want to share, which I have to say, just as doing the production of this show, you said the word journey the first time, and I brought your website up at that exact moment. Isn't that funny? Because your website's Journey to Discover, and you said journey, boom, and I brought it up. So I do love that. Well, we can't take any more questions or comments because we have to run. But thank you for being here. You know how to reach me. I'm sure go to usaglobaltv.com and you can contact me there. Mariska, it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you all the best, and I will look forward to seeing you next week. And thank you to everyone who's watching us live and those on the replay. We really do appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a quick snippet of my new single. Please listen to what I say. You can purchase it, download it over on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, as well as Amazon. Bye for now.
Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now. Listen, babe, now.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who was going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.